Without my gloves, it'd be no problem. Tiny bit of a hot spot here, but I was really pressing down. Just back out of that. Try it this way. Nice. Nice and punky, very dry piece. There we go. Missed the grain. Oh, I think that's enough, but you get the point there. That's a nice piece. Okay. There you go. Nice 1/4 inch 1095 chunk of steel. See what we can do for a little bit of carving. There. Chokes up really nice. Yeah, it's a lot more maneuverable than I initially thought it would. Yeah, that's kind of a perfect balance between, you know, maneuverability, chopping, batoning, splitting, full flat grind for slicing. That's great. Overall balance, you know, right at the hilt. So this is the defined woods knife / survival knife for decades now. The Ontario Rat 7, made in the USA, 1095. Got 7 inches of steel there, hence Rat 7. It's a 1/4 inch of 1095, and it is 12 ounces, 12 inches overall and a bit, so just over a foot. And you know, some of the best things in life are the simplest things. I mean, this thing is an absolute 10 out of 10. And I'll tell you why in just a sec. Let's go with the sheath first. This isn't the stock sheath. This is a custom Kydex sheath. And then wrapped around it, got a little bit of extra tape there for reinforcement. This was sent by a friend, by the way, for review. So this is his mods, his sheath and everything. And, you know, you could take this off. This custom sheath has more than enough rivets to do, you know, different tech locks and things like that. Yeah, this came off like a Cold Steel SRK belt loop. So really nice. You can take it on and off the belt without having to take your belt off your pants. It's got more than enough retention. Got a really, really nice thumb push there. Got some drainage in case the sheath fills up with water. and more than enough accessory attachments that you could slap on here, such as your frwds, survival tin kits, etc. The retention, absolutely perfect. There's no rattle. It's kind of like a tan micarta here, like a canvas colored micarta essentially. Yeah, just pushes off no problem. You can definitely strike with a ferro rod on that spine. Just once in a while, touch it up with a file. As you can see with chopping and batoning, no bend or anything like that. A 20-degree edge on there, convexed, probably from his work sharp, I'd imagine. You got this kind of, I would call this kind of like a modified drop point, just a slight drop down. A lot of people like to call it a clip point. I would say this is more of a drop point, but with a very nice piercing tip. You got this constant taper from the hilt to the tip, but you got a really nice reinforced point. You got about 2 inches or so of width to the blade, so it's got a lot of shearing potential when you're slicing, and also hence the assistance to the chopping power. As you can see with the crap load of batoning and chopping he's done, you can see the paint wearing off and blade is oxidizing, but I find that really attractive. And you got this amazing handle shape with the 4 choil here. Little bit of extra jimping there is icing on the cake, so you get a really nice purchase. I would say you got like more than enough, almost Mora-like feel when you're doing like feather sticks and carving and detail work. So this is one of the few blades that are absolutely perfect. It's a blend of that chopping power, obviously batoning, prying if you absolutely need. You can do your food work, food prep, your carving, trap making, etc. There's just limitless possibilities. I would say just a few other competing knives would go with it, like the BK7, BK9. If you want to go a tad up, go with the Hungless or the BK9, Trailmaster, etc. But you would lose a lot of that nimbleness. And you got the balance point pretty much just behind the hilt here, basically where that screw is. So you could actually, if you have the right hex bit, just, you could field strip it and give it a deep clean. Scales were blockier, so they had been rounded off a bit more. Full profile tang. You got the extended tang at the back there with a nice lanyard hole. You could also take advantage of this. Use it for smashing, pummeling bark into tinder, etc. Got the little bit of a rear hook, big belly, big forward choil, and a guard there, so there's no chance of slipping forward. I'd say the only thing this thing can't do is, fillet a fish nicely, but I bet it could still be done. It's pretty flat and blocky, so the only other modification I would do is if I had a sander, something like that, I would round it here and here, adding a little bit of some canyons here and here. So I would make the middle part a bit more round, so I have a bit more of a palm swell. That would make it just a wee bit more comfortable. That's the only thing I can think of. And then I would also take to a sander or grinder again, and just sharpen up that spine a bit more. But as you can see, it's look at that, peeling off the thumbnail. So plenty sharp there. You got that nice little bit of ricasso there, reinforcing that steel, giving it that thickness it needs. I can only really see it tapering, a little bit past the jimping. So overall, just such a great classic design. Very easy to carry. It hardly feels, I know it's almost a pound at 12 and a bit ounces. But, the way it carries on the sheath, with this sheath in particular on the belt, you just don't really feel it. And, you could even put this in a pack. It'll fit pretty much any pack, whereas the larger knives, you're going to have a bit of a problem with that. But this is just such a nice, compact overall size. So, thanks, buddy, for sending this to me. to review, and definitely going to buy my own, see what other modifications can be done with it. But there's literally nothing I can't say about this knife that isn't bad. I would say your chopping point is a little bit more forward on this belly here. And I find when you're chopping, it kind of wants to swing out a bit. So you are going to have to slap a lanyard on, and you're basically chopping with the 2 or 3 fingers back here to get that maximum leverage. But it really bites in deep, especially that kind of sweet spot around the forward belly.